Hi everybody, it's your favorite DIT girls back full of gratitude today. Gratitude that you're watching us and that you are wanting to create, do it together, making projects either by yourself or with your family or with your friends. This is all about having fun and creating during this crazy year of 2020. But we do have so many things we're thankful for, and that's what we're going to present to you today. We have the coolest gratitude boxes that Cindy's going to show you what you need to make them. You probably have everything around your house somewhere. And I will be honest, I am using these for my Thanksgiving table, and each person is getting one. So they're fun to make, but then you're also giving something to someone. So have fun making this today, and it's a quick little creative idea for you.
I think I'm going to do it where I just make one box and have everybody at my Thanksgiving table create one card, and then we can put them all in the box. And maybe at the end of the night, we'll raffle it off and somebody gets to take that special box home.
That is so cool.
So
see, we're just thinking on our feet here.
So it's do it together. So much fun, and you will just love this idea of how to create this. So this is a completed gratitude box. It is beautiful. It is just simply made from an old jewelry box. And then we put some raffia on the top. You could use ribbon and a cute little cinnamon stick to tie it all up nice and tight when you're finished. And it makes a beautiful little gratitude box. Now, I'm going to go through the step-by-step of how to put the box together and how to create your gratitude cards. What you want to do first is you want to find the box you're going to use. I actually had this plain white jewelry box. It's probably about a 3" by 3" square box, but you do not need this size. You could have the long skinny boxes, like a necklace would come in. You could do a smaller size box. Any box will do just fine. If you don't have a box, use an Altoid container. There are so many different options for doing this project.
You actually could use a pouch even.
Or you could use a little pouch, is exactly right. Now, the first thing you want to think about is when you create your cards, you want them to fit inside your box. So you're going to make them just slightly smaller than the size of the box itself. So I cut all of my cards first, and I tested them to make sure they fit in my box. Now, when you cut your cards, I used watercolor paper. Now, some of you that are not artists are like, what is watercolor paper? I have no idea. Well, you can buy a student grade watercolor paper at any craft store. Or if you don't want to buy watercolor paper, you can just use any heavy sheet of paper, like a piece of cardstock or anything that you might have at home. So be creative, come up with your own ideas, but you want something that has a little bit more weight to it because it's going to be more like a card and not like a sheet of paper. Now, if you want to get really fancy, we found this awesome little cutter to cut our cards with. It's awesome because it does have the measurement on it. And when you go to cut your card, you place your card right in here, and then you slide this cutter down, and you get a perfectly straight line. This is one of my favorite go-to tools. How about you, Karen?
I couldn't live without it lately.
So even if you're not a crafter and you want to go buy one special thing for yourself, this is it. It's amazing. This one happens to be made by Fiskars, but I know other companies also make them too.
I have a couple.
So I do too. So I mean, I've never even had to replace the blade in mine, and I've used it over and over again. So it's well worth the money. It is a little bit pricey. I would say around the $15 to $20 range, but well worth it. Now, let's get on to talk about our cards because they're the most important part of your box, okay? You'll see that on these cards, we've written a nice little saying, but also we put some color in the background. Doing this color in the background is super simple. You don't have to be an artist, okay? Now, if you're gonna do something like this, where you're going to do a light color and a dark color, it's best to let the light color dry first, then add your dark color later so that the colors don't bleed together too much. But be creative and cut plenty of cards. So if you don't like the cards, you can always go back and make more. Okay? Now, to get my card started, I use some of that blue painter's tape that you can just buy at any of your home improvement stores. And I taped the card down to my surface. I put the tape on about 1/4 to 1/2 inch around the edges. Doesn't really matter. If you want to have a smaller border, you can bring the tape out further. Karen, didn't you do some that you didn't even use tape on at all?
Right. As you play with this, you're going to get used to, okay, I'm putting a square in the middle here, and you don't really need the tape. But it's a nice way to start because you get to see that clean frame around where you're painting. Just try it this way first.
Now, I'm simply going to use watercolor paint to go ahead and do this. Any watercolor paint you have will work. Go to the dollar store and buy a dollar store set of watercolor paint. It will work. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now, if you're an artist and you do have the fancier ones, that's great too. Any of them will work. Now, the trick is to have plenty of water. More water than color so the color doesn't get too rich. So I'm going to wet my brush first. And then I'm going to choose my lightest color. I want this to kind of have an autumn theme. So I'm going to use my warm colors of yellow, orange, and red, maybe a touch of brown to resemble the autumn leaves. So I'm going to start with my lightest color first, which is yellow. So I'm going to go to the yellow paint, put a little yellow paint on my brush, and just do a quick wash across my card. It's really wet, but that's okay. I'm going to clean my brush off, go to the orange, and do a little bit of orange right next to my yellow.
Well, I even like when they blend a little. It won't hurt anything.
Absolutely.
As long as you use like all the warms together or all the cools together.
Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a little red. Ooh, I love that. And then I'm going to go to a brown. That's how quick and easy it is to do the card. Now, be sure to let this dry before you start to remove the tape. I know it's really exciting and we all want to pull the tape off first, but do yourself a favor and let it dry. Also, a lot of times the tape will be reusable, so you could use it on your next card. Personally, I like to lay out about 4 cards at a time, tape the edges, and do all my cards at once. And then I'm finished. And I can pick and choose which ones I like the best.
And sometimes you get your own style. Like Cindy's style is to do it kind of on the diagonal. She does her different colors. And I know that when I did it, I kind of did where I'd put it a row across with a lot of water and kind of if it would drip into the next one. So you're going to find your own style as you do it is what I'm, kind of trying to say.
Absolutely. Now, while these are drying and you want to make sure they're good and dry, Karen says about 24 hours, right?
You don't really, with watercolors, it's not going to take that long maybe for these. I mean, I laid them out like you did, 4 at a time. And then I might be doing the other 4 on the other side. Really, I'd go to dinner or whatever I'm doing. When I come back that night, I'd be ready to go. So
and they're dry.
Just give them enough time to dry. Or you can blot them. When in doubt, you can blot them with a paper towel.
Now, you're going to leave these alone. While you're waiting, what I would do is research on the internet some thankfulness quotes or some quotes that have something to do with Thanksgiving or about how amazing you are. So I would write your quotes down on another sheet of paper, and because you are going to put little quotes on top of each and every one of your cards, okay?
And remember, if you're making these cards as a gift or you're doing something, it can go with that person. Like it might be that you're making motivational cards for somebody, or you might be making inspirational cards for somebody. Your quote can be whatever we're saying gratitude because the holiday is coming.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. My handwriting is horrible. Well, have no fear. I want you to take a look at this card right here. You'll notice it's a mix of cursive and printing. Now, Karen did a little trick to make her handwriting look even a little bit more beautiful?
Well, I mean, if you're talking a little bit about, you always start with your own handwriting. So if you're going to print it, just print out your quote. And then my thing is to take a letter, or for each letter, just add a little flip at the bottom or thicken some of your letters. It makes letters stand out a little bit more and others lighter, so that you give a little texture to your lettering.
And you don't have to do it a lot on every letter. You can just do a little bit here and there, and it really makes your lettering pop.
It makes all the difference. And if you look at an A where you have the top of it, you just curve out and just color it in a little, or the bottoms of an N, the two bottoms, you're just curving them out a little and coming back and coloring them in. And you'll notice as you look over them that you can say, oh yeah, that can't be easier. I mean, and a little practice goes a long way, honestly.
So that's what you want to do, is pick out your quotes for inside your box. It's a lot of fun to pick out your quotes and do a little different things on every single card. Now, I'm going to go back to this card that I just completed for you. Now that I think it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and carefully peel the tape away from the edges. Now you'll see why I decided to put the tape around the edges to give it a nice, clean look. Okay?
Couldn't be more perfect.
And it couldn't be more perfect. It makes a beautiful card. Now, this card's ready to go. Now I can start lettering on top of it. You do want to reserve one of your cards, and that is because you're going to glue one of your cards to the top of your box, okay? So pick out your favorite color maybe, and then you could put thankful and blessed. You could put my gratitude box. You could come up with whatever saying you wanted to. You could actually put the people's initials on the box that are having dinner with you. Be creative, okay? Once you have labeled one of your cards to be the top of your box, all the rest of your cards are going to go on the inside like this. Now, once your cards are on the inside, and people ask us, how many cards do you usually put in a gratitude box?
Whatever.
You can put as many as you want. I think that probably about 10 cards would fit in here. If you only wanted to put something you're grateful for with each person at your table on one card, leave the rest of the cards blank and they can fill them out, you can do that too.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so now I'm going to put the lid on the box, and here's the finishing touch. You want to go ahead and find some kind of ribbon, raffia, anything to jazz it up. This is just raffia from the craft store, and believe me, if you buy a package, it will go a long, long way. You don't even have to use the raffia. You could use ribbon, or you could use a little twine. Anything will work. Also, I thought this was a wonderful idea that Karen did. She actually went to the grocery store and bought cinnamon sticks and laid a cinnamon stick on the inside of the raffia. You don't have to get that fancy. You could just use a stick from the yard. Or how about a seashell you found on the beach?
Absolutely great ideas.
Be creative and have fun with your gratitude boxes. I know your whole family are going to be excited and love seeing them on Thanksgiving Day.
Have fun and happy holiday.
But before we go, we want to remind you, we are
bagladysonline.com. That's our website. And on Facebook, please like us. We are the Bag Ladies on Facebook. It's at Bag Ladies, the number 4, Learning. Bag Ladies for Learning. But if you look up Facebook, the Bag Ladies, you are going to find us. And we would appreciate your liking us. And we're also on YouTube. So go to YouTube and please subscribe to us. The more subscriptions we get, the happier we are to keep bringing these great ideas to you.
And make sure you like and share that there too. Thank you, everyone, and have an awesome Thanksgiving.
Bye.